up, guys, and welcome to another edition of Wrestling Pulse. Right. I am J-Man, or what do you want to be known as now? Was it, I think it was Hot Dick.
No,
Hot Cock. Hot Cock, sorry. For this episode, I will now refer to Ryan as Hot Cock. And as I said, that is just more than a mouthful in more ways than one. I think I said more too many times in that sentence.
How about this, before we get going? The fans of this...
The fans of the Pulse.
The fine Pulse Nation.
Pulse Nation.
Sound gay as fuck.
Pulse Universe. The Pulse Universe.
That sounds like a porno name.
It does.
Y'all.
Pulse Nation. Pulse Nation sounds like a shitty, a shitty radio station on like Sirius, like XM. Ooh. Pulse Nation, giving you the hits of U2 and Coldplay and shit. I don't know what the fuck they play.
You guys, we have to refer to our fans as the fucks. You guys want to be
the fuck boys?
The Pulse fuck boys?
The Pulse boy.
Either way.
We're the Pulse boys, so you'll be the Pulse. Just you guys that watch our show. There you go.
The guys who watch our show.
The dudes that watch our show.
Sure.
Probably 4 chicks.
4 chicks.
4 chicks.
There's at least 4. 4?
I would say 4.
I want to just let you guys just give me a nickname.
Give Ryan a nickname.
Yeah, you can put something in the comments below, and we've got
J-Man, we've got Quad. You know, we had Truth for about a minute.
We naysay on that one.
Minute. I think we naysay.
I think it'd be hilarious to call him that again.
Just call him Truth.
King
again.
Truth.
And it's so apropos.
Bork Laser King Truth.
So apropos to just call him Truth.
Right.
And then Ryan, he needs a nickname.
Yeah, just give me a name, and we'll go through, and we'll pick out maybe 4 or 5 of the best ones.
If you can think of like a one-word one. I almost feel like we have J-Man Quad. We need like a one-word one.
Skunt. S-K-U-N-T-T.
Just
2 T's. Skunt.
Sklunks. Scratch that. Sklunks.
Sklunks. We are way off topics.
We are. We're not on Pulse Topics. We're off topics right now. And as you can see by the title, we're going to be giving you guys a Pulse Topics show. Have not done one of these in quite a bit.
Hot Cock Minute.
Hot Cock Minute. That would be your little time period to talk. This is Hot Cock Minute. Giving you all the hot cock news you could ever wish and desire.
Oh, I swear neither one of us do drugs. We are naturally retarded.
We're just natural retards. The Hot Cock Minute. We'll give you like your own little like news bulletin. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Hot Cock for the Hot Cock Minute. Just don't even talk about it. Randomness.
I'm laughing so hard.
1 minute.
I'm hot now.
Hot, as a cock. So it has been quite a Hot Cock Minute. So we've given you guys our Pulse Topics show. We have some interesting stuff to be talking about on this show for sure. And we'll just kick it off hot and cock with obviously one of the biggest. And we have lost all viewers by this point. The biggest topic really going on. Well, I guess obviously a tragic and saddening topic, which we'll get to here in a bit too, happening over the past week. But obviously the biggest newsworthy as far as things going on outside of actual wrestling and what's been going on with a notable and huge name in the wrestling industry, which is Hulk Hogan, and really the big scandal going on with him right now. Obviously, you guys probably know all about it, with the sex tape being released years ago, and now I guess we found some deleted scenes from that are just really unfortunate for Mr. Balea. That just caught him in just this day and age and everything that came out, and the racial slurs and all this and that, and I guess there was some homophobic slurs in there too, whatever he can do to further bury himself. But this all revolving, I know his I don't even know what the fuck even happened with everything. There was a lot of stuff with like Bubba Lumsponge and that fat piece of shit, and everything going on with that, and the word coming out of here, and obviously going through the news routes and all that kind of stuff, and everything, getting huge publicity about this. Obviously Hulk Hogan getting released by WWE. Obviously the right call on WWE's part. They really just want to separate any sort of scandal or controversy they could possibly do. We've seen them do that in the past. And as far as a corporate company in the fucking global scale that WWE's on, they're gonna separate themselves from any sort of controversial, scandalous type things like that. So obviously that's the right call on that part. I think we're both on the same page as far as how Hogan's being treated out to this point. Is he's just being just drawn and quartered, like, beyond belief out of this, and he is, in our eyes, getting the fucking Benoit treatment from pretty much everything. Now, I don't want to say, I don't want to, like, say that we're on the side of Hulk Hogan by this. Everything that he said, whether, out of joking nature, which I haven't heard the audio of this, so I really can't talk as far as being the word, that's going on here. I haven't heard the audio of how it came off or what happened. No matter how you say that, you don't say shit like that. You don't, you just don't do that. No matter the joking nature, no matter this and that. I know that's what we do on our show all the fucking time. But there are just lines you cross sometimes. And you just don't do that. And I don't stand for that. The racist, homophobic, sexist, I can't stand that shit. It pisses me off when people, especially when you have the serious people without the joking, no matter what. Obviously, like I said, the joking aside, you just don't do shit like that. And obviously, he's getting, what he deserved for saying things like that. He's getting the treatment that something like this and the scale of what he did. He's getting what he deserves for it. Now, there's a lot of things that have come out that are just totally ridiculous with a lot of it, with what we were saying about how he's kind of getting the Benoit treatment, how he's acting. It's kind of like, okay, he did wrong, leave it at that, and just kind of go about, doing everything here, and, hopefully, well, not hopefully, he's going to try and do whatever he could possibly can to get his name back to where it was, but it's going to be pretty hard in this day and age with how people get treated and how you just kind of get that instant reaction on somebody, and that's how you view them forever. I mean, that's just how it is now, in this day and age. Could we possibly see him back in WWE down the road? Yeah, we possibly could. But it's just kind of one of those things. We didn't need to see him when he came back a couple years ago. So it's just like, just go about your shit. Try to fucking, I haven't even heard, I've only heard stuff from his lawyers and this and that and all this kind of stuff, his attorneys and shit. Go out and be a fucking man and say it, what you did and how it came off, and issue your apologies. Do whatever you want, but issue the fucking statement yourself. Don't go through lawyers and attorneys and shit. That just shows that you're not caring about the problem that is there. Go out and do it yourself. Take it like a fucking man. Say what you need to say to make your apologies and this and that. But like I said, I'm not the all-saying truth on this. I've only got the gist of probably what you guys got. There's probably people out there that know a hell of a lot more than I know. But it's just kind of off the cuff and what I'm, seeing from what came out and everything. It's just one of those kind of scandalous things that you see, here and there when it comes to wrestling. And it's just one of those unfortunate things and just happening with absolutely one of the biggest names in wrestling history with Hulk Hogan. So a lot of stuff coming about here, with the sex tape and everything coming out, and what was said and this and that. It's all stuff that you just kind of want to just not even. It's just like whatever. Just it's on the side, but it becomes so big. It's like, do your part. Fucking apologize for everything you said that was wrong, because it was wrong. Whatever, however it came off, it was wrong. And just, you just try and move on, and just as wrestling, you just try and move on. It's like, yeah, it fucking sucked, and it's another thing that it's like, oh, you have one of the biggest names in wrestling, and that's a great, a great way to put out as a wrestling fan. It's like, oh yeah, this giant ass name, and making these stupid scandalous fucking remarks and shit, and just another kind of etch to anybody that's a wrestling critic to be like, oh yeah, you got your biggest name out there just bashing people left and right and the blah 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 blah, and it's just like, he doesn't represent all wrestling. He represented himself there, and he looked like a fucking idiot. That's just the way it is here with this this shit going on with Hulk Hogan right now.
Yeah, man. The big thing that keeps coming out about this is the people that are defending him are saying, this was 8 years ago, and he was in a dark place, and the things that were happening in his life were not that good, and he was he was just in a real horrible place, and he was just bullshit was just falling out of his mouth left and right at that time. And that could be completely true, but people say stuff. I've definitely said things that I regret saying, or not thought about, and just said it and just realized, okay, well, that was bad. I shouldn't have said what I said. And when you realize that you've messed up, you need to come out and just apologize, frankly, get it done, and then hopefully down the line things can be better for you. This is not the last time he will be seen in the WWE. I don't think he'll fix his name to some people, but as far as a wrestling, a name and a personality, years down the line, he will be seen again. He will be doing things again. There will be times where he'll be seen again. My issue with this is exactly how he said is, he didn't kill anybody.
Right.
He didn't, he's not going to jail. He's not, he just, made a mistake, said some things, and that happens. Like, there's, that's that. You can't, like, WWE just likes to do these kind of things where they just want to completely erase somebody. Like, obviously Benoit is one of those examples, and that's clearly makes a lot of sense. But, years down the line, they still cut out his audio on...
Nope, WWE Network, nope, his matches or anything, nope.
So they completely acknowledge that he was a person. They don't blur out his face.
Right.
They, all his matches are, on television, or at least on the network.
Right.
Right, you can see them.
Right.
And they, and with the commentary, they say his name, and I see it down the line, him being able to be back and years ahead. The day and age we live in is, it's, somebody has to say these things, but the internet age, people are just soft. Like, things are said, and that's great. And, and people get mad, and that happens. But now that the internet is so blown up, you can do and say anything, right. And within a day, something is everywhere. And people are talking about issues with it, and problems and things, and, people are voicing their opinions, and getting scrutinized so hard. Like, you completely, like, this statement that this man said could ruin him for the rest of his life. He could maybe never get a job in wrestling ever again. He could never find a way to make money. That ends this man's career and life, possibly. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just soft to how the internet is nowadays. Like, you can't say or do anything without somebody getting extremely upset or mad about things. We joke and have a good time on here and say things and do whatever, but we don't really care. Like, we don't give a shit about, a lot of things, but we're not gonna...
And we get it across as joking.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Nobody could ever take it like, wow, that was really bad. Like,
that was really bad.
It's always in a fucking joking nature.
Yeah, we're not legitimately sitting here being, saying ignorant things or being racist or anything like that. Right. It's just, goofing and doing whatever.
Around.
Yeah. And that's not, maybe he came off, like I said, I've not seen the audio
exactly.
either. I don't know exactly how this was said.
Right.
I've read on exactly what was said, and
right.
I've not seen the audio for this. But to me, I just feel like it's just silly how blown out of proportion. They can just completely erase this man. Like, I understand the firing, completely understand. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. That would happen anywhere. But acting like this person doesn't even exist anymore, like, within your company it's crazy. Like...
Right. And I think that's a big thing that goes to that is the bigness of the name.
Right,
and who
for
it
sure.
is.
And the thing I was going to mention was people that are defending Hogan online and different things is they keep sharing that video, if you've not seen it, the video of Hogan talking to Booker T and John Cena years ago where he says the N-word.
Oh, yeah.
He says it in a joking manner, and he says it on a program where he was trying to get across jokingly or whatever. Right. But fans are sharing that and
trying to make that real or some shit.
Yeah, trying to make it like, and I saw this article about the top 10 moments where WWE was racist, and it was like, go through
the Vince McMahon part with John Cena.
Yeah, there's a video. There's a video clip of him saying the N-word to Booker T and John Cena or whatever it was, and there's other different moments of racism. And that just proves to where we are in time. Where if some of those things would have happened now compared to 10 years ago, if this happened 10 years ago, it maybe would have gotten some issues or problems, but this got way blown up, and it just became a crazy big issue. WWE just was like, cut the head off.
Yeah, with this day and age and the politically correctness of everything, it definitely gets to a portion where it's blown out of proportion. So a lot of stuff there and a lot of backlash that's happening here with Hulk Hogan. One thing we need to get out of the way before we go into our next topic, which is some sad news that happened over the past week, which is the passing of Roddy Piper. Really unexpected and quite frankly out of nowhere in my eyes. Only 61 years of age. Dying of cardiac arrest, heart attack. I know he had a lot of interesting thoughts of the Hulk Hogan controversy and everything coming out of here, and then hearing of Roddy Piper's passing on, I believe Friday it was. Same as along the line with Dusty, a huge name in wrestling and in wrestling history. With everything that goes on with Roddy Piper, so you can tell the inspiration that he gave to a lot of talent. I know from watching CM Punk's DVD, he said he was one of the hugest inspirations for CM Punk to become a pro wrestler. And you look at guys like like a Dean Ambrose or somebody like that, where you see those kind of characters and stuff like that, and the character that really Roddy Piper was in a time that was all about big 300-pound, 6'5" guys. Here's this just kind of dude who just came out in a fucking kilt and just did his own kind of thing, and really was the first, as far as WWF goes, one of those like notable heels that was really in that company, and that was such a great talker, and for one, obviously one of those first great talkers, where it comes to that. But yeah, just really sad news here of Piper's passing. Obviously a lot of great memories, down along the years and stuff like that with Piper. And really, one thing that always just always sticks out to me is the inspiration that you could tell that he had on a lot of the talent. And you saw it this past Monday. Everybody, they did the 10-bell salute at the beginning, and everybody, wearing their Hot Rod shirts. Coming out to the ring and stuff like that. So another huge loss when it comes to the wrestling, community and the wrestling world, as far as another legend passing away. We had it with Dusty just about a month ago, and now the passing of Roddy Piper here. Really sad news, and just such a great character when it comes to you could listen to his promos and his his segments. Obviously, Piper's Pit, one of the biggest things. One thing that I'm actually doing, which I was going to actually tell you that I haven't told you yet, is one thing I started doing was started right after on the network, which you watch anything on there. Just sometimes I get bored. I started right after the NWO formed at Bath Beach in 1996, and I started watching every pay-per-view, and I'm going to watch every WCW pay-per-view until WCW ended. It's just something, I don't know, I just wanted to do. Just ever since I had it, I get bored, I just start watching stuff. I'm like almost to the end of 1996, but one thing that they were building to, I guess they had Starrcade in 96, was Hogan and Piper in the main event, and I was watching a segment from, I think it was like World War III or something like that, in November of 96, and there was, I was just fast forwarding to just shitty match after shitty match that was really going on. I stopped to watch some like Rey Mysterio match I think he had with like Ultimate Dragon or something, which was awesome. And there was like a segment in the middle of it with Piper and Hogan, and I just sat and watched it, and just kind of, obviously after his passing and something like that, and just kind of what is the word I'm trying to think of, the remembering something, I can't think there's a word, like reflecting on his career and stuff like that, and everything that he really did, and just kind of stopping there. It was just a fun segment, something they built to, and all, and his rambunctious way that he always was throughout his promos and his segments and stuff like that, and the passion that he really had for the wrestling industry. You could really tell that, and it really came through. So really sad news with Roddy Piper's passing here, and just left a huge mark on the wrestling industry.
Yeah. One of my dad's favorite, my dad's two favorite wrestlers just died.
Oh, Dusty and Rock.
Yeah,
he's not having a good month.
Yeah, no. His other one is Undertaker. So.
Oh, watch out! Shit.
Hopefully he doesn't die.
Can you make it to SummerSlam?
Yeah,
Brock Lesnar might be the one who does it.
Yeah, that'd be bad news. But,
it's terrible. Sorry.
But anytime, either one of the Dusty or Piper would come out on a Raw, back in the early 2000s when I would watch with my dad a lot.
Right.
Or WCW or whatever it was, he'd just be like, "Oh man, it's blah blah blah, it's Piper and Rhodes," and I didn't really know much of them. I wasn't born until '90, so
right.
But I just remember, and he would just do the bionic elbow, and then he would just do the stuff with Dusty, and he would just talk about the coconut, and my dad would just pick up a water bottle and smash me in the head with it, and be like, "That's coconut, boy," and then he would, "We'll find,
it's a water bottle, Dad. Stop drinking."
yeah. But the scenes of the Piper's Pit, and the all these guys, the Jerichos and Edges and Miz's and Carlitos had their shows, and multiple other people who've tried to do it, and it spawned off of him, and showing that as a professional wrestler, you don't have to just be a wrestler. You can just be an entertainer. Like when it comes to being a wrestler, clearly there's a couple of guys in the WWE that right now they're kind of dwindling down and not wrestling very often, and kind of just doing the entertainment. The Miz, he's in the mold of a Roddy Piper. He's a talker and entertainer. Right. And, without Piper, guys like that would have never existed. Guys like, the Ambroses with the characters and stuff and the way they derive their characters from would probably never existed if this thing did not work years ago.
Right.
It's real sad the passing, and crazy, man. Crazy. These legends are just dying. Hopefully we don't see any more this year, but,
Right.
it's just they're so close to each other, and, kind of sad news.
Right, you gotta be thinking that somebody like Ric Flair is starting to like feel like, whoa, what's going on here?
Whoa.
All my friends are all of a sudden disappearing here. This is not good. I know he had a lot of great things to say about Piper as well. But yeah, just really just crazy stuff going on. These passings of these huge stars. I mean, they're not even like just kind of like, oh, noteworthy kind of here and there. Like these are huge stars when it comes to wrestling history and stuff like that. So obviously sad, everything. And he came to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and he's a lot of bubblegum. Had to get that in there. They talked about that in
That movie he did.
That segment, yeah, like They Live or whatever the fuck it's called. I can't think of what that movie was.
What's the name?
Called,
It's
like
Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Was that what it was called? No, that wasn't.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia too. He made a little cameo. He did
Oh, nice.
Like he was like.
I just saw a commercial with him
show or something.
where he was.
Yeah, like talking at the suicide prevention thing.
Suicide, yeah.
It's on Ring of Honor weekly. I don't know if you guys see it too or whatever. It's like a little commercial, it's like a youth suicide something like that prevention
I've
thing
seen
like
that a while
that.
back.
So obviously a huge impact, on the early starts of like WWF and everything what it came to be, with his character and everything there. So obviously sad news of Roddy Piper's passing there. Second topic we have going on here. We took like fucking 15 minutes to try to figure out how to title it. But basically it's going to be revolving around promotional booking conflicts. With a lot of different ones, pretty much every major promotion you could possibly think. Actually, every major promotion you could possibly think of going on here. The first one we want to talk about here, and really two companies that we have not talked about in quite some time, which is Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. I believe that's still around. Impact Wrestling, sorry, whatever you want to call it. And the startup company, Global Force Wrestling, obviously headed by Jeff Jarrett, former or the founder of TNA Wrestling. TNA just. I have not watched footage of TNA, not on my little fucking phone for the little 60-minute clips that every now and then if I see like, oh, these guys had a match, let me just kind of get a gist of how that was and how they could fuck it up or something. But we haven't ever since they switched channels to Destination America, which I don't have that on my provider that we have here. Haven't watched it, and I stopped watching back when they were on Spike before that, right? I think about 2 months before they even left Spike. So this has been quite some time since I've seen any TNA. I can't even think of the last time frame that I even watched. Maybe late last year, maybe I don't know. Somewhere around. It was probably somewhere around where they ended up doing Bound for Glory in Japan, and that ended up being a clusterfuck. And I'm like, what the fuck are they doing with this company right now? But yeah, I mean, it's just. We want to talk about all these, this stuff with, the partnership of TNA and Global Force. One thing I just have to get off my chest is this fucking company that I loved, man. I fucking loved TNA. Like, it was something I was always looking forward to because it was the true alternative at the time. I wasn't into Ring of Honor yet, which was another alternative, and obviously what they, amazing shit they were doing at the time, which I wish I would have, but I wasn't, unfortunately. But what TNA was as far as a mainstream alternative to WWE, that was TNA, and everything they provided, and all the talent that they got over at the times. They got over the right guys, they brought in the right guys, the crucial signing of a Kurt Angle and bringing in a Christian and those kind of guys that really helped form the base of what TNA's, future was really going towards at that time, and then building it around the young stars of, AJ Styles and Samoa Joes and, Christopher Daniels and the Bobby Roodes and James Storms and everything went on there. And look, it was just so fucking bright and fresh and vibrant of an alternative that was the alternative to WWE. And just what it has turned into, it just blows my mind. There's so much talent, and what was so much talent and was so much depth, to that roster, and they literally just flushed it down the fucking toilet. Obviously one crucial thing that was really kind of a pivoting point was obviously Hogan and Bischoff coming in. Everything they did, and for the most part was shit. and then Dixie's involvement and starting to get her more involved, on the television product, and anything she's involved with is pretty much turned to shit. And now everything that it's turned into now, and it literally isn't even the same company anymore. The talent is completely different. They still are going with the same theory of guys that WWE gave up on. That's let's look at your main event. Sorry, spoiler alert if we're giving this away, but your main event for Bound for Glory is 2 mid-card WWE guys and one guy who didn't even get to the mid-card. It's just like when you sit there and you have guys come along like the Austin Aries, and then you have your guys that were TNA originals like the James Storms and the Bobby Roodes, and you do what you did to an AJ Styles, who turned it right on there and said fuck you to everybody that and he goes on and does exactly what he's capable of doing, which is being the best fucking wrestler in the world and doing the amazing shit that he's done in New Japan. Reinventing himself basically with this. So thank you for TNA for being a bunch of fucking idiots and not giving the just house to AJ Styles and the guys that helped fucking build the foundation to your company. The James Storms, the Bobby Roodes, the then out of all those guys, and then you just you give the world title to Eric Young. And nothing against Eric Young, but just their mentality of how they just do shit. It blows my mind. I literally don't even know. I just don't even know what the thought process is anymore, because it's literally just we're just trying to survive. We're going to be around for maybe a year if we can get that point. If we can even get to Bound for Glory this year, we're going to set the main event if we could even get there. But yeah, this summer having obviously Global Force Wrestling, Jeff Jarrett's promotion to redo TNA, and starting off really hot that they've got going on right now. Having Jeff Jarrett come back into TNA, get inducted into the Hall of Fame over the past couple weeks, whatever that means for anything. I don't know. They probably did it in like a White Castle fucking parking lot, for all I know. Having his interaction, having him come in and win the King of the Mountain championship, and the King of the Mountain match, bringing that back in to try and get some cheap fucking like nostalgia out of that. Have him win that championship and then have some partnership going on with them, and now guys like Bobby Roode and Eric Young and Magnus and those kind of guys, and a lot more seemingly to come, have started been kind of infiltrating into Global Forces. They just had their first television taping. I think it's called I don't even know, Jacked or some shit. I don't even know what the fuck. It's super fucking.
Sounds
generic.
like it.
It's super fucking generic. I can't even think of what it's like. I don't even know. Something fucking it sounds like Impact basically, but it's not Impact. And their next gen title. This is a next gen title for young up and coming athletic high flyers. I wonder where they got that idea at. But yeah, it's just everything revolving around this, and seeing the first card. They were having tournaments to decide all the first champions for the Global Force champions. They have a 6-sided ring, which I haven't seen a picture of, but I've heard they have a 6-sided ring. I think they did it in Las Vegas or some shit. They just had random talent in there. They had Chris Masters and fucking who's the guy that was with Zack Ryder? Kurt Hawkins was there. They had the Bullet Club there just because they're there. Gallows and Anderson. Sanjay Dutt might have been there. I don't know really what they're doing. That's Global Force Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the startup of TNA 2. But yeah, it's just you just can't have one solid thought process of what TNA is doing, where they're heading, what they're doing. They're just we're here still somehow. We're TNA. We are TNA? Question mark? I don't really know. But yeah, in Global Force, I was excited to really see what Global Force was going to provide and what it would really do to the landscape of modern day wrestling, and with everything going on within the NXTs and Ring of Honor and New Japan obviously getting hot with their TV deal and everything they have on Access TV, which is awesome to watch that kind of stuff from the past year of New Japan and catch up and get familiar with the names, because I think that's one thing that was a problem with me, because obviously you don't have I want to go see Edge or The Undertaker, or I want to go see John Cena, or The Rock. It's we have Shinsuke Nakamura and Hiroshi Tanahashi. You're who? It's one of the it's the disconnect of ignorance of American fans, honestly. Oh, you have to have this cool look or that cool name or the get over this way or do that move or come off like that guy. Or it's like, no, you don't. You just have to be a fucking awesome athlete that goes in and puts on great work and is an amazing performer. And, given the opportunity for people to go out and check out New Japan and check out, the show on Access or whatever, it's opened the eyes to me because I had that same ignorance. I had that same, I know they're great workers. I didn't have the ignorance of, hey, they're not going to put on great matches. I know these guys put on great matches, but you get in the flow of how the storylines work, you get in the flow of how they work, how the shows work, how they build their year, how they go about doing everything. And it's just so eye-opening and so fresh to watch stuff like that. And they explain things to you. They explain the history of guys and how they get to do, and whether it be the tournaments they have or the shows they have that are significant. And it's all, as a wrestling fan of however many years now, since I was 7 years old. It's fun to check out stuff that's like that, just reinvigorates your love for different parts of professional wrestling, and something like New Japan does that. And that's what something like TNA did for me back, in the early 2000s when they started up. It reinvigorated something, because you always had WWE. It was always there. It was always like, that's the standard bearer. But you have these startup things that come up, and they're just so fresh, and they're just a spark of lightning to the wrestling industry. And you're like, God, this is fucking awesome. That's what TNA was. It's not anymore. That's why I said was. It just seems like a dead zone in just some fucking just abandoned town that's just like, hey, we're still here.
2001 WCW.
There you go.
That's what it feels
It's
like.
exactly what it is. It's a company that's about to fucking go out of business, because that's exactly what WCW was at that time. It's unfortunate. It's sad to see, because of all the talent and the great talent that has built the foundation of that company and everything that's happening right now, and who knows what's to come with Global Force and everything going on there. But a lot of question marks, really to come with both companies in TNA and Global Force Wrestling.
Yeah. Just like him, I don't have Destination America, so I have not watched any of TNA. I keep caught up with their pay-per-views. I follow their Facebook page. I get little updates on their weekly cards and what's going to happen. They have talented people. They still have talent. Everyone's booking and leaving. I saw Bully Ray left. I saw MVP
Storm
left. Storm. Magnus left.
MVP got released.
He got fired or something because
Hernandez thing.
Yeah, Hernandez wasn't allowed to be shown on TNA because he's with Lucha Underground. Right. Which is, now Lucha Underground feels like the next
exactly.
TNA.
That's another one that I forgot if I talk about New Japan and stuff like that. Lucha Underground, the fresh spark company.
And, Global Force could be a fun indie promotion. Jeff Jarrett has a bunch of friends, throw some guys he knows together on matches every month and have a show. And are they doing weekly?
I have no idea. I think so far right now that's all we've seen. Yeah. But they haven't even been on TV. They've just shot the tapings. So
I think it'd be better if they just ran a show once a month,
right.
PWG or something like
that. Or even
that.
how TNA started with the weekly pay-per-views. Or
the weekly pay-per-views once a week on a Wednesday or something. Right. I'm sure providers would pick you up or something. And there's always fans that check out wrestling promotions. If you're going to sell a pay-per-view for $4.99 a week or something.
Right, and obviously I think Global Force was a big key contributor, and Jeff Jarrett was a key contributor of getting Wrestle Kingdom on pay-per-view in January.
Right.
And that was awesome. And that was great that we got to see that, and I know it was on delay or whatever the fuck, but we checked that out, and that was awesome to see that and be able to get that provided to us.
It's cool to see the Japanese version of a WrestleMania, and that's cool. That's something as long if they keep airing it,
we'll be there.
We'll definitely keep watching it, because I love Japanese wrestling, and I don't ever go in thinking that this is going to be such a good storytelling.
Right.
I'm going in knowing that this match is going to fuck shit up. They're going to put on some great quality wrestling.
Right.
But yeah, with TNA, like I said, I haven't watched a televised anything from them, pay-per-view and nothing. The only thing that I watched was for years I wanted to see Kurt Angle versus Bobby Lashley, and they ran it on one of their shows in the main event, and it was like a 20-minute match, and I was like, I'm going to find this. I found it online somewhere and watched it. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I've wanted to see that for a long time. But other than that, I haven't literally watched a TNA show in like a year.
Yeah. I can't even think the last one we covered. I can't even think the last one we covered.
As soon as they completely transferred from being TNA wrestling to Impact Wrestling. I just got this vibe like it was just WCW 01.
Yep.
They do go by that formula of just bringing people that cast off guys from WWE that they just gave up on. And don't get me wrong, some of these guys that was WWE's fault. They didn't give them a chance to flourish.
Right.
It
happened great with Christian. Christian is a man who which really was all him, made his name. His name as a main eventer in TNA and vaulted himself up to main event opportunities in WWE when he came back in 2009. So that's one of the key things that you could get out of having those kind of cast off type guys thrown to the side. And
you look at their champion E3C, who's a guy who was on NXT. He didn't even get a main roster spot in WWE. Yep. Now he's a champion in TNA. He's, don't get me wrong, the guy has a character and he's he can wrestle decently. He's there's a lot of guys in WWE that are they're just decent wrestlers and they have good characters. That's just a thing. Sometimes sometimes you just don't get the total package. But basically the booking conflict of it is knowing, okay, TNA booking with Global Force, they're having issues obviously with that already, with not having guys on certain shows, or TNA booking guys for their shows and they got to take them off there. On top of that, we get to the WWE and New Japan with their NXT booking conflicts they're doing, where they're just like, WWE is they have the money and they're smart. You think about wrestling smart. Sometimes you think with the issues with WWE is they have too many people behind the scenes pulling strings and people want different things going on. When you have 5 people with like minds who are booking things, you get a Triple H who's like, you know what? I don't know whose idea this was to do this like this, but whoever decided this and it started working, it definitely brought everyone in agreement. But booking NXT like it's an independent promotion. Booking NXT like it's Ring of Honor. One issue that WWE's had for years, and it hasn't even really been an issue, they haven't really made it an issue, but it's a thing that's happened. Whenever WWE books pay-per-views, big shows, SummerSlams, WrestleManias, or just pay-per-views in general, sometimes indie promotions or Ring of Honor, they ran big shows that weekend in the same city. Yep. Because at a WrestleMania weekend, you have fans from everywhere. And they're like, oh, well, I'm going to fly in from so-and-so on a Friday. WrestleMania's not till Sunday. I'm going to spend the whole weekend in this city and have a good time. Some people take that whole weekend as a vacation. Oh, what are we going to do Saturday? Oh, Ring of Honor's running a show on Saturday night.
$20 a ticket.
$20 a ticket. Oh, holy shit. They have 4 4-star matches? What the hell? Crazy good. Look at my weekend. Yep. Awesome. Yep. But I'm just saying, they're doing a good job with this idea of making NXT like an indie promotion, where they're trying to book NXT shows the same days as Ring of Honor shows in the same cities. And Ring of Honor's getting mad about it, and they're, in that whole situation, Ring of Honor, one of their big issues is they specifically bring in New Japan guys to bring that different context, that flavor from somewhere else to, Ring of Honor that you're not always seeing on a weekly TV show, seeing Jay Lethal every week and seeing a Roderick Strong, and even though these guys are great, you get the Nakamuras and the Tanahashis and Okadas and those guys, the bigger names in New Japan, and those are their top guys. And now maybe it's not an issue, maybe it's just something that WWE want to do. Hey, let's book Jushin Liger on NXT. That's random, but look what they're doing with Joe. Obviously, right. They wanted to lock him down and just make him an in. Rhino also. Yeah. Rhino doesn't have a WWE contract. Right. He works specifically in NXT.
And Brian Kendrick, I think we saw also.
Brian Kendrick, yeah. So you look at that right there. Well, okay, Ring of Honor getting mad at the conflict of, okay, well, you're going to book a New Japan guy the same weekend or the same day, I guess. Yeah. That we're going to run a show in the same city. We're going to be dueling shows. NXT and Ring of Honor are going to be running the same shows. A SummerSlam weekend, and Ring of Honor is getting mad, and it's a conflict of interest, and they're mad about it, which it's understandable, and who knows where they're going to take this. But as of right now, the one of the most exciting things that WWE is doing, now they're bringing it up to the main roster, and WWE talent, their talent as of their main roster is on fire. It's crazy. It's the best it's been in a long time. You can just cherry pick guys and just throw them in the ring, and then they have good matches.
Right.
You know, that's the thing that's great right now is, you know, even if you don't get the great storylines sometimes the storylines make themselves because the matches are good.
Yep.
The matches are good. What was the storyline between John Cena and Kevin Owens? Not really much of a storyline. Storyline was Kevin Owens was like, I just want to face John Cena because he's the face. That's been a storyline forever. Oh, you know what made it good? The matches made it good. Oh, everyone was talking about how good they were. Like, that's just something that WWE has to understand and I think they've kind of finally started to realize, okay, well, it doesn't matter. Let's just put Cesaro and Kevin Owens against each other at SummerSlam.
Yep.
And just have them have a wrestling match and go out there and do the thing. They don't have to have some crazy storyline. They don't. Their storyline is one's mad at the other one, and they just don't like each other. Like, when has that been a storyline that's been like super blown out of proportion?
Right.
A Bray Wyatt storyline. It's nothing. It's just one guy's mad at the other guy. They don't like each other.
Yep.
And then they just go out and have good wrestling matches.
Yeah.
Like, it's good. It's good. Kind of drove off topic, but
it's all good.
But essentially, you know, there's just a lot of booking conflicts with different companies and people doing different stuff and companies trying to weave in and do different things, and WWE's trying to take a stab at the New Japan thing.
Yeah, and I think there's another one that I just remembered too, which was Ring of Honor's problem with Jarrett and Global Force, which was them the same thing, like Liger getting used, Japan talent, stuff like that, was Global Force advertising Ring of Honor guys to be on their shows, and I think it was on future dates or whatever the case may be, but they were advertising like, hey, they're going to be here like tonight, on the same night that those same guys were wrestling for Ring of Honor and working for Ring of Honor. So, I mean, there's a lot of, you know, like you said, conflict of interest and everything, trying to get a one-upsmanship over some of these companies, the Global Force and Jarrett, wanting to obviously get their name out there, and Ring of Honor being the company like, hey, we've been here and you've been fucking raping us of all of our talent for what we've been providing for you guys, and now all those guys are on top of the world and have been on top of the world for the last couple of years. You look at the Punks and the Bryans and, you know, bringing in Joe now and Cesaro and the Owens and, you know, all those. The names go on, Rollins. The names go on and on for everything that they've been doing. And, you know, there's a lot of ways to look at it. There's a way of, you know, running the same shows and trying to kind of, and this has happened over the past couple of years now, which is counteract the success of Ring of Honor and everything they've been doing, is to try and like lock down certain, I can't remember the exact things that they would do, but they would try to pretty much lock up those time frames for people to be like, well, it's either you decide between WrestleMania or you decide between Ring of Honor, or, you know, what's going on, and the Hall of Fames and stuff like that, the access shows, everything that WWE tries to cram down your throats that entire weekend to be like, don't avoid us type of thing. And trying to take away from Ring of Honor. And a lot of the, you know, the hardcore fans like, I'm going to go ahead and skip that and go see some fucking kick-ass match with, you know, Roderick Strong or Adam Cole or the Young Bucks or whatever the case may be, you know, stuff going on like that. So it's, you know, trying to corner the market, which WWE always does. Another way to look at it would be to WWE to try and, you know, almost help out Ring of Honor to get them to the point to be like, hey, check these guys out for when they get to here and then when they get to here type of thing. Almost like a what they did with ECW back in, you know, the Attitude Era when they...
Didn't Vince gave
airtime.
Gave him $1,000 a week or something?
They gave airtime to ECW on Monday Night Raw to get them over and to get really the revolution of the Attitude Era started in WWF. He saw what ECW was doing, and I don't, you know, the talk goes on and on. Did they take the concepts of ECW and turn it into the Attitude Era? I don't give a shit who fucking, whatever you say about it, they did. That's exact. They saw the success and where it was heading and how it was. You know, it's not this cookie cutter bullshit with the shitty, you know, characters and everything that was going on at the time for WWF. You know, around the, you know, 93, 94, 95, everything going on like that. And, you know, when they used a guy that came into ECW and let his frustration out from, you know, everything that happened in WCW, which was Stone Cold Steve Austin, and they saw the natural character. It wasn't even a character, it was just Stone Cold being Stone Cold. Brought him in and obviously did the Ringmaster thing, which was fucking stupid, and then finally let him be himself and let him do the exact same shit he was doing in ECW a couple years beforehand, and was the spark of the Attitude Era. And you look at all the things like DX and everything that they were doing, and the matches that they started to put on. You look at, you know, the spots that you saw in the Hell in the Cells and the TLCs and stuff like that. none of that would have been happening if it wouldn't have been for ECW and everything that started there. So you look at the mind frame and the mindset of trying to get over that and trying to, get over, the names that are there, the possible, you look at a possible guy like an Adam Cole in the future, possibly in WWF or WWE, or, maybe eventually if, I know the Briscoes just got re-signed and stuff like that, but those down the road or the Young Bucks or, all the names go on and on. Jay Lethal's, what he's been doing right now. To get over that talent, because you look at what has happened over the past couple of years and the signings and what they've turned those guys in, not really what they've turned them into because they're just natural fucking amazing talent, what they gave the opportunity to focus on, which is all these guys that have come from places like Ring of Honor, what Bryan did and what Punk did and what Rollins is doing, and Joe should be doing right now instead of doing squash matches in NXT and wasting time. The list goes on, and the names go on and on as far as what those guys can provide and what they have provided. So maybe to showcase a Ring of Honor may be a good idea for WWE.
There's one thing I did want to mention.
Yeah, go ahead.
Which is that we didn't even write down. I was thinking about it when it kind of goes along with booking conflicts and things that are happening with promotions and them making moves and doing different things. And just to mention Lucha Underground, their season finale or whatever is happening. Ultima Lucha is happening. There's really not sure if there's going to have another sequel. That they hopefully they do. They're going to have another season because they don't know if the El Rey network is still going to be a network. Right. It's losing lots of money, and it's lost lots of money over the last year. And the company is just, or the station itself is just doesn't have enough money to stay around. And that's the thing you look at right there where, okay, you have a flourishing company that's doing a lot of really awesome things and different things that I've never seen in wrestling. Yeah. Obviously, I've never really watched a lot of Lucha Libre style wrestling. I've never really delved into that kind of, style of wrestling, but as an Americanized version of it, I love it. Yeah, I think Lucha Underground is awesome. Yeah. If another company could pick that up, or not company, just a station in general, that'd be great. But that's another thing. You look at the Lucha Underground stuff going on, and they might not even have a station to air on.
And there's quite possibly the best promotion going on right now with all the revolutionary and just the fun stuff that Lucha Underground provides. It's just so vibrant and so fresh and so needed in this day and age in wrestling when things just remain the same and you have something that comes in and is just totally different. Because as soon as I saw Lucha Underground, I was like, this is different. This is an alternative. This is something that's unique, and it provides what you need, which is amazing talent that put on great work and tell awesome stories. That's what Lucha Underground does. They tell some great stories and everything that they provide, and their characters and the production of everything. So a lot of interesting stuff going on with pretty much every major promotion in the world right now. Happening in wrestling. So it should be really interesting to see how everything goes down the road. And really, because I think WWE really holds the fate of pretty much everything in their hand, and everything that they want to do and how they want to go about the future and how they want to get over things. Like Ryan was talking about with how they produce NXT as an indie promotion, which is exactly what they're doing, and getting their own effects of that, like what a Ring of Honor has done for years and years. And how they go about maybe the interaction with other promotions and New Japan and Ring of Honor down the road. So that should be extremely intriguing to see how all of that gets handled, and could be really vital to what goes on in the future of and the landscape of professional wrestling, which could be and everything that we're talking about here is all going to produce some great stuff. No matter what happens, it's going to produce some great stuff because it's all competition. And it's all people getting fired up about wrestling and everything that's going on about wrestling. So that's great to see, and hopefully we could see some great stuff be the outcome of all of these, interesting booking conflicts and things going on with that. Went super long on that, so we'll probably cut this last one short a bit, which is going to be coming up very soon, which is our SummerSlam 2015 thoughts going into SummerSlam on the 23rd, I think, of August. I don't know when we're going to upload this. We're talking right now the night that will be night 2 or the ending season finale of Lucha Underground, the Ultima Lucha show, which we're going to watch right after this show. This will probably get uploaded after that, so if you haven't, check out our Lucha Underground Ultima Lucha review, which we're going to be doing Back to the Future style. I don't know, we do this shit all the time. But this will be up before SummerSlam happens, so we're definitely going to get our thoughts on that, what happens in the future. Like we said, so we're shooting this on the 5th of August, so there are some tentative things still happening, and there are some things booked so far. We'll get to the things booked so far. Obviously, the main event is set in stone here. We have the 16 months in the making, whatever you want to say it, for Undertaker's revenge on losing the streak here. We have Undertaker going up against Brock Lesnar. I don't really know how we should really go about doing all this kind of stuff because it's kind of just a smorgasbord of random shit. A lot of interesting thoughts of really what's going on with this match.
It's more like the 4-hour stretch.
Yeah, and another thing I need to get out of the way too is obviously making the SummerSlam 4 hours. Obviously going the route of the format of WrestleMania. Awesome, that's great to see. I think it's a good break between WrestleMania and up into SummerSlam. You get kind of the beginning of the year, March, April-ish. And then you get to kind of the mid-year going towards fall or whatever, and you have those two big shows, and really to solidify SummerSlam as the second biggest show, which it is, and which it always has been, and over the past couple of years, they've kind of fallen off with that. It's always produced some great stuff, and always been something we always look forward to, is SummerSlam, which is a fun show, and everything really going on with that. But making this 4 hours and listing is like, okay, this is our second biggest show, check this shit out, you can't miss it. And the fact that we get it for $9.99 is fucking awesome. So yeah, tons of stuff to look forward to. Obviously, like I said, the main event with The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. A lot of stuff, people having conflicts with how this is being booked and all this kind of shit. Stop being a little fucking armchair booker and just get your fucking thumb out of your ass and just shut the fuck up. I really can't. I can't stand it. People are like, well, why is he getting revenge this so late? And what?
Because he was out of shape.
Yeah, maybe because they didn't want to book this match yet because it would have been terrible again. Obviously, a lot of things that happened at that WrestleMania 30 match with him being concussed and everybody's like, this is going to be shit again. And I'm not thinking that at all. I think this is going to be a fucking fight and it's going to be fun to fucking watch.
Yeah, it's going to be a massacre.
It's going to be fucking awesome with what Brock Lesnar provides and the shape that Undertaker is in now. As I said, seeing him, got to see it live, at Battleground, see him return. It looked a lot along the same lines as when he came back in 2004 WrestleMania 20 to face Kane. It's really how they had the same look. He had the hair the same way. His body looked about the same. At WrestleMania this year against Bray Wyatt, he looked like he was on his fucking deathbed. He looked in terrible shape. He looked just frail and weak, and he still looks old, but he looks older at WrestleMania.
Right.
And to me, that's the only thing that I would say that shouldn't happen. I don't think he should have wrestled at this past WrestleMania if they were going to book this. I don't know if they thought, like, shit, he's getting in way better shape over the last couple months. Let's do this Lesnar-Taker match. Because this came out of the blue.
I really think Taker is like month by month. Yeah. I really like even maybe week by week about storyline, what he's doing.
Right.
I maybe there was talk for a while.
Yeah.
We might do Lesnar Taker at SummerSlam a year and a half from now.
Right.
We might.
Right.
We'll think about it.
Right.
We'll talk about it a couple times here and there.
And
then a month before, they're just like, let's get in shape.
Yeah, he looks in pretty good shape. Let's go ahead and book this.
Why don't you, I feel like he was already getting in shape. I think people might have been telling him, hey, you're in rough shape. Like, you seem frail and falling apart out there. But I think he knew I think from WrestleMania last year till next year. Me personally, I don't know, but I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark and say, we've talked about this, could be his last year at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I think he would want to
being in Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, everything really solidifies.
Maybe the Hall of Fame stuff,
Hall
like
of
you
Fame,
said,
possibly that
and him going into okay, this could be my last match ever, like at WrestleMania or whatever. Maybe they want to get that last Brock Lesnar deal in, and then go on to WrestleMania, and maybe set up something going down the line for the pay-per-view at WrestleMania, and him being in way better shape. He maybe knew, okay, I better whoop ass and get going.
Right.
And then they were like, okay, well, Taker's in good shape. Maybe let's get him in this match at WrestleMania or SummerSlam or whatever.
Yeah.
And have him head towards Mania.
One thing I've always said is the production of Undertaker's character has been so critical and been so important to WWE and the way that they get him over. He is the cornerstone of WWE and has been for 20 plus years. How everything was booked from when the streak started to get serious, you could possibly say around Randy Orton's WrestleMania 21 match, probably around there, around WrestleMania. I would say WrestleMania 20, probably when he came back as this, the traditional Undertaker character, WrestleMania 20 against Kane. So say about around there. That's 2004, so that's, 11 years ago. How everything was booked from then on was fucking amazing. Like he was just booked like it was otherworldly, you know, before that point. But it just gets to the point and then you get to the you know, the stretch of the two Shawn matches and then the two Trip matches and then that great match that you had with Punk that should have been the fucking main event over that shit they had as the main event. But it was just epic after epic, and he would have one match a fucking year, and it was the fucking match of the year, like every fucking time. And the story fit with everything that was going, and the streak just got to be so fucking epic and so big that what they did to it at WrestleMania 30 was like, you cannot end this fucking way. You can't end Undertaker's career and that character, because the character is so important, and it's so important to me. I mean, us as a kid. I mean, that character is fucking huge. I mean, you look at, you know, the 80s kids and stuff like that had Hogan as the Warriors. We had the Austin, the Rocks, the Trips, and the Takers. Those were our guys. That's what we grew up on. But that character deserved so much more than what he got and the unfortunate things that happened, being concussed and knocked out, having to go to the hospital, and the way it ended, and the shitty, terrible match that we got out of it. You have to come full circle and round out this awesome character and the story that's been told for 20 plus years with this Undertaker character. Have to round it out into an amazing, you know, form. And I think that's one thing that probably got Taker like, you know what? We've done some great shit over the past 20 years, and that ended fucking terribly. Like, I'm going to get myself... If I got to make a 6-month, 9-month run or whatever, do SummerSlam to WrestleMania or whatever, I'm going to get in some fucking kick-ass shape. I'm going to end this the way that, you know, I think that's, like, the fighting spirit inside of an Undertaker. Like, you know what? I've done some fucking awesome shit. I'm not ending that way. And we don't want to see it end that way. Whether you want to see an Undertaker wrestle in 2015 or not, that character deserves to be rounded out the way it deserves to be rounded out, and I think that's something you need to do, because it was always so epic, and it always felt so meaningful when you got to those WrestleMania matches with the Undertaker, and obviously his opponents did a lot for it too. You look at, you know, this, like I said, the stretch of from 25 to 28 that he had with Shawn and then with Tripp, just was so epic, and the stories being told, and you know, the video packages and the matches, you know, set aside alone, were fucking amazing. So you have to round that character out, and the tradition that it has from the 20 fucking years, you know, us growing up as kids and seeing that character be the cornerstone, and still the cornerstone of this business, or you know, of this company, needs to be rounded out the proper way. It needs to be ended the proper way, because it did not end properly at WrestleMania 30. So I think that's one big thing that, you know, I really wanted to get out, as far as the importance of that character and everything that needs to be rounded out with it.
Yeah, I think it would be great if they just did a if he could just, if he's in good enough shape and he's willing to do it from SummerSlam,
just make a run.
Yeah, for 6 months to Mania, have him run, have him
Survivor Series, do a big match there.
Have him face for the title.
Yeah,
Mania.
Fuck it.
Have you know what? I wanted to see. I don't give a shit if nobody wants to see it or not. I wanted to see Cena and Cena and Undertaker at Mania forever.
Yeah.
Make Cena the champion.
Going into
Mania, have Taker face him.
Taker win the Rumble.
Win the Rumble. Go in, finish it like that.
Right.
Have him win the title, and then be done.
Right.
And then, you know, have him win the title, win the match, and then just leave the title in the ring and just leave.
Yeah, just salute to it and leave the title there.
Yeah, I won. And then the next night they have a tournament or next pay-per-view.
They decide the champion.
Yeah. I think that would be good.
That would be fucking awesome.
That's way into the future, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
But you're looking at the end of Taker's career.
That Taker's career.
His career is done here.
And to what he's saying, that fits the epicness of what we've seen throughout Undertaker's entire career. That, you know, there could be
not that,
God damn, that's gonna be the name. You're gonna have fucking Taker win the title. Like, it's the Undertaker. Like, it's not. You're not talking about here or there bullshit. It's the fucking Undertaker. And you go back and you just look at your history of watching professional wrestling. There's always that guy that's there, and it's always the Undertaker, and he's huge, and he reflects on everything that you fucking do, and we can't get it over enough. And I know Quaddy would want to be here to talk about Taker as well, but I mean, that's just, you have to get over how important that character was and is to professional wrestling.
Yeah, the main thing I just wanted to say, you know, with the thoughts about this being 4 hours, obviously, trying to make it like a WrestleMania, make it the big summer show, obviously. God, man, on paper, man, this
awesome.
This card looks incredible. You got Cena and Rollins. There's just no way that doesn't get time and get the Kevin Owens Cena treatment.
Yep.
It's going to have
Pumpkin Cena
yeah,
treatment.
It's going to be incredible. They're going to have a great
match. And that won't
match.
even be the main event. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what kind of card you got setting up here.
Cesaro and Owens, you're going to get a good match there.
Yep.
And if being 4 hours, going to get time. They're going to get time for these matches.
Yep.
You got your tag match that they're talking about. I guess they've
already booked it. Yep.
Ambrose and
Roman Reigns
against Bray Wyatt, and that's going to be a fight. That's going to be awesome. Luke Harper. Yep. You have your divas. Oh, there might be 2 divas matches.
Yeah.
They're having great matches.
Awesome.
These young NXT divas. All right, SummerSlam. I'm getting a match at SummerSlam. My first pay-per-view.
Yep.
Gonna tear the house down with these girls.
You give people like Charlotte, Sasha Banks, or Becky Lynch fucking 15 minutes to go out there and put on a great match.
Show what they did in NXT.
They were stealing NXT shows.
Incredible. They're gonna have awesome.
Yeah.
They even have everything that they're leading towards has a storyline.
Yep.
And then they also have the Rusev and Ziggler will probably have a match that's been building for a while.
Maybe a mixed tag or something. Hopefully just Rusev and Ziggler.
Right. Stardust and Neville have been doing a thing, maybe with this Arrow guy, possibly.
Yep.
So they've been doing the whole storyline with that. You even have
Sheamus again.
Yeah, Orton and Sheamus.
Yeah, kind of whatever, but
get them in there.
But a mid-card match that's that
could be a main event. Yeah,
that could be. And as far as names go, yeah.
Right, and then you have the one match that you're probably not going to really care about, but it still has been having a storyline built to it, which is the triple threat for the IC title, The Miz and Big Show and Ryback, which either way is going to be a complete train wreck, and it's going to be hilarious.
We have to have our match to make fun of, and that's the one that we got to make fun of.
I mean, even nothing,
the tag titles too.
Yeah.
Something you could possibly do.
Look
maybe
at the tag teams. There hasn't
way.
been tag teams so heavy in a long time.
With characters behind them and gimmicks behind them.
Matching gear.
Everything.
And we're even missing the Usos.
Yeah,
the
I know.
Usos are
with the great work that they put on.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
So, I mean, doing a tag team scramble match or some kind of triple threat tag match
ladder. We've wanted a goddamn triangle ladder match
WWE for a long time. So I mean, this
Lucha Dragons.
Lucha Dragons are great.
That'd be amazing. Yeah.
So as a total, I mean, this SummerSlam looks like it could be incredible. Like I always
talking 02 material.
Yeah. It's been some years, man.
That's up there. I remember the last good one that we really enjoyed was 2011 with that had Punk and Cena, and then you had the Del Rio cash in. And had a lot of really quality mid-card matches and stuff like that, which is a really good one. But 02 is the fucking, that's the holy grail of SummerSlams.
I tried
to watch that one last night. It was fucking awesome.
This is, like, I can't...
Especially getting 4 hours.
Yeah. I can't think of a on paper, another one that's looked this good in a long time. And I'm not sitting here with, thoughts of it being, okay. No, I have high expectations for this.
Yep.
This show being extremely good with the quality of matches they've been producing, and on top of that, even
not even to mention, the night before we
NXT
have
stuff.
We have NXT Takeover Brooklyn, which is, I believe, I told him I think they're going to air and have that in the same venue that they're running SummerSlam. Makes sense. Set it up on Saturday and keep it there until Sunday and do the same show.
Yeah.
But that obviously headline, Kevin Owens is going to have a big weekend. That one having the main event of Owens and Baylor, which could be fucking amazing. And that was great as it was at Beast in the East, and obviously Liger and Tyler Breeze and everything else they could possibly add in, and hopefully some stuff with Enzo and Kaz, maybe have some stuff with Joe. Fucking that would be insane. So I mean, this whole weekend, it feels like a WrestleMania weekend. And they're really getting that over. I think adding that NXT show on Saturday makes it kind of just a whole weekend thing, and it just gets it all over as like, God, this is fucking awesome. And all leading to SummerSlam on the 23rd. We're fucking jacked for this show. And it should be some great stuff, and hopefully it delivers with what our expectations are sensing right here, because we are pretty fucking pumped for this, for everything that's going on. Coming up at SummerSlam this year, that probably was the longest topic show we've fucking ever done. I can't say that, we've done some long fucking shows. But yeah, be sure to check out, let's see, I don't know, like I said, don't know when the fuck this airs, so we're in some like weird time warp right now. Be sure to check out upcoming, our SummerSlam preview should be coming up. Like I said, I don't know when the fuck this is going to air, but I'm sure after this will be our SummerSlam preview. And then something for NXT. We're kind of figuring shit out right now. Ryan's going to see, Hotcock's going to see if he can get, that was almost so long ago, we forgot about that joke. I'm going to see if he can make it out for something. I know maybe Quaddy or Rod, I don't know who the fuck's going to come out for that, but we might make it another all-nighter thing or whatever. Might check that show out and do a review of it and put it up Sunday morning or some shit. I don't know. But we'll definitely be checking that out, and we'll definitely be all over SummerSlam. So be sure to check out a review for that. And also, SummerSlam week, be sure to check out a little special Pro Wrestling Pulse little thing we got for you that I did some extensive work on. Coming up on August 20th, which is our first video that we did for the Pro Wrestling Pulse way back in 2012. This will be our 3-year Pro Wrestling Pulse anniversary coming up, which is fucking insane.
The night we flipped on shit on y'all.
That was, back when we did that. So it's just crazy how time flies. 3 years on the Pro Wrestling Pulse channel. I know we took a little leave back last fall. We're kind of getting a little bit burnt out, but just things reinvigorated. Sabbatical. A leave of absence. So 3 years on the Pro Wrestling Pulse, and we had it, which we were trying to think of. We did so many videos back on the IWR show. There was only like a year and a half we were on that show. So we've been for double the amount of time we did on the IWR show, which is crazy. And coming up in January of this year will be our 5 years of doing videos on YouTube. God. 5 fucking years.
I'm going to jerk off with all 5 of my hands.
Half of a decade. Ladies and gentlemen, go back and watch that first IWR show review. That's some good shit.
Dude, we were
terrible. Oh my god. I think it's like Genesis 2011, I think was our first video. Take you on a journey. I don't even know what the fuck I said to start that. Go check that shit out, because that's pure entertainment right there. Got some anniversaries coming up here, and be sure to check out our special little, won't give it away yet, special little thing we got for you.
It's a porno.
It is. We just cleaned the table. It took us like 3 days to clean all this shit off. The residue left over from Hot Cox and J-Man going at it. Just no sold that? Nothing for that one?
I was trying to think of something clever.
Yeah, I didn't have anything. I just kind of flew that out.
Cum shot.
Cum shot. I just cum that. I cummed that out. Look, my pecker. Cometh out my peni. Bloopers. What? So be sure to check out that shit. What's on my arm, homie?
Don't be so.
Is it jizz? So check that out. We're going to do that probably.
That was in your beard.
That's gross. What the hell is that?
I don't know.
Jizz thing. The week of SummerSlam and all the kind of shit. We're going to be having a lot of shit SummerSlam week. But, I guess we can finally get out of here. This will now wrap up our Pulse Topix show for my partner Hot Cox, Ryan himself. I am Cold Dicks? I don't know. What's the reverse of that? Hot Cocks and Cold Pussies. That sounded bad. What can we do? Hot Cocks and...
Cold Cooter?
And Cold Cunts.
Cold Cooch.
Skunt. Skunks.
Skunks.
Hot Cocks and Cold Cooch.
Hey, remember, you guys on this video, you want to give me a nickname.
Get that nickname for Rhino out there. We'll see what we got. If we got anything good, who knows? We may use it on an upcoming episode of the Wrestling Pulse. For my partner Hot Cox himself, I am J-Man, and thank you for watching another edition of Pro Wrestling Pulse, the Pulse, Professional Wrestling World.